Communication is more than just speaking and being heard. It's about truly connecting with others. It's about understanding their needs. And it's about conveying your thoughts in a way that's clear, concise, and impactful. When leaders excel at communication, they can foster trust, and they can inspire collaboration, and they can create a positive work environment. So grab a cup of coffee or a tea, whatever it is that you like to drink, and join me as we discuss. Welcome to the Do More podcast, the show that empowers you to unlock your full potential and achieve great success in work and in life. Friends, I'm your host, Ben, from benribble.com Coaching, where we focus on 3 foundational pillars: leadership, productivity, and organization. And today, we'll be diving into a crucial aspect of leadership: communication skills. Effective communication is the cornerstone of great leadership. And by honing this skill, you can inspire and motivate your team to achieve extraordinary results. Now, before we get started, I have a resource for you that you can download for free. Yes, I said free. I want you to jump over to benribble.com/communicate so you can get your free copy of my ebook that's titled Communicating Like a Leader. It's a simple guide that dives a little deeper into the intricacies of communication. And because of the way it's written, it can add value to anyone that reads it. Because, let's be honest, everyone communicates, not just leaders. And again, you can find this free ebook at benribble.com/communicate. Okay, let's jump back into the discussion at hand. Let's start with a positive example. Imagine a leader who excels in communication skills. They are not only an excellent speaker, but also they're a great listener. I mean, this person takes the time to understand their team members' perspectives, the challenges that they face, and honestly, their aspirations, their goals. And this leader creates an open door policy where everyone feels comfortable sharing their ideas and concerns. Furthermore, this leader acknowledges and appreciates the contributions of their team. And this fosters a culture of recognition and support. This leader's messages are delivered with empathy, clarity, and enthusiasm, inspiring their team members to go the extra mile. And this person understands the power of effective communication in building strong relationships and achieving collective goals. Now, let's explore the converse of that, a negative example of poor communication skills in a leader. So picture a scenario where a leader rarely communicates with their team. They keep important information to themselves, and they leave their employees feeling left in the dark. And when they do communicate, it's often vague or inconsistent or filled with jargon. And this lack of clarity and transparency leads to common occurrences of misunderstandings or confusion and even decreased morale. Team members, well, they don't feel valued or heard, and it ultimately affects their motivation and their productivity. This leader fails to recognize that effective communication, friends, it's not just a luxury, it's a necessity for successful leadership. So, The question is, how can we develop and enhance our communication skills as a leader? Well, here are some actionable tips to help you get started with upping your communication game today. First, active listening. Truly listen to your team members. Give them your full attention. Show them empathy. And truly seek to understand their perspective. You want to know why they're coming to you, why they're telling you what they're telling you. And you can practice reflective listening as well. It's a form of active listening where you actually reflect what the person is saying to you, but in your own words. Don't be a robot. Put it in your own words and make sure that they see that you are putting an effort trying to understand what they're telling you, what they're saying. Number 2, clarity and conciseness. You need to be extremely clear, but also concise in your messages. Avoid jargon. Use simple language whenever possible. Use language that anyone and everyone can understand. Make it so that no one, no matter how long they've been a part of your team, feels like they're not understanding what you're saying, that they don't understand the jargon, they don't understand the shop talk that you're saying or the acronyms or whatever it is. Make sure that everyone clearly understands what you're trying to say. Number 3, transparency. You need to share relevant information openly and transparently. No need to keep things close to the vest. You need to keep your team informed about important updates, any changes that are being made that will affect them and or their work, any decisions that have been made by you or someone else in the organization that, again, is going to affect the way they work or they interact with others within the company. Transparency is key. And sometimes this is one of the hardest things for leaders, especially a new leader, because they feel that having this information is equivalent to having the upper hand. But friends, as a leader, you should never feel as though you have the upper hand or make your team feel as though you have the upper hand. That is not conducive to a healthy leadership mindset. Be transparent. Now, that being said, let me just add in, there are some things that the team can't know or shouldn't know, especially if it's going to negatively affect morale or it's going to negatively affect the way they do their job. That's where you kind of have to use your own judgment to decide what is best for your team. But in most cases, erring on the side of transparency is best. And so next, then, we'll talk about nonverbal communication. And this is one that a lot of people miss. Nonverbal communication. I want you to pay attention to your body language. The next time that you're talking to some colleagues or talking to some of the people that are under your leadership, check your body language. How are you standing? Are you standing in an approachable posture? How's your tone of voice? Are you welcoming, comforting? Are you short and kind of harsh? And think about your facial expressions. Do you smile when you are delivering information, when you are communicating with your team? Even when you're just walking through the office, do you smile and acknowledge others? Nonverbal communication can have a significant impact on how your messages are received by your team. Remember that. Constructive feedback. You need to be able to provide feedback in a way that is constructive, it's specific, and most importantly, that it's actionable. If you're going to give feedback to someone, they need to know how, going forward, to fix whatever the problem is or to change whatever you're asking them to change. So think about that. Any feedback that you give should be constructive, build them up, specific, and actionable. Give them ways to be successful. And focus on the behavior or the issue at hand. Never, ever, friends, criticize the individual if you can keep from it. Focus on the behavior, not the individual. And lastly, adaptability. Adapt your communication style to different individuals and the situation. Some team members may prefer a more direct communication, where others need more time to process information. Some people you need to speak to. Some others, instead, you should send an email or a memo. Know the individuals and adapt to what they need. And remember that developing strong communication skills is an ongoing journey. Friends, it takes practice and it takes self-awareness. And honestly, it takes a genuine desire to connect with others. But the rewards are immense. When you communicate effectively, that is, you inspire trust, you build stronger relationships, and you create a positive and productive work environment. So again, as a quick recap, those 6 things that you can work on to improve your communication. Number 1, active listening. Number 2, clarity and conciseness. Number 3, transparency. Number 4, nonverbal communication. Number 5, constructive feedback. And number 6, adaptability. Well, that's it for today's episode of the Do More podcast. I hope that you found these insights valuable, and more so that they inspire you to take action in developing your communication skills as a leader. Now, if you would do me a favor, jump over to whatever podcast platform you're listening on and make sure that you've subscribed to the podcast so that you can get future episodes delivered directly to you and notifications delivered directly to you. And then if you would do me one more favor, and that's either share or rate this podcast. Doing those things help me reach a wider audience. And one of my goals as a coach is to help as many people as I possibly can. So if you could do that for me, I greatly appreciate it. Remember that you have the power to make a positive impact through effective communication, regardless of where you are at in your life. So don't forget to jump over to benribble.com/communicate so that you can get that free copy of the ebook, Communicating Like a Leader. And friends, remember, make today a great day.